Let's jump right into it. 8 incredible foods that will supercharge your diet this year. Number 1 is sprouted grain bread. And yes, this is different from seeded whole grain breads. So typically, in the past, like 6 years ago, when I went to the grocery store, I would buy like a seeded whole grain bread. I thought that was healthy. It wasn't really ultra-processed. But the problem with those kinds of breads is they have ingredients like maltodextrin, which is still a sugar. They also have things like added soy or canola oil, which is inflammatory. And so, if we look at the glycemic index, even though it's made with whole grains, it can still spike our blood sugars because of these additional ingredients. Now, what is different about sprouted grain breads? Well, number 1, they have beneficial bacteria. So just like fermented vegetables, the sprouting process starts to break down some of the starches into simple sugars, which feeds good bacteria. And then that bacteria produces short-chain fatty acids, which are anti-inflammatory. Now, in one study, for example, they compared sprouted grain bread to regular wheat bread. The group that ate the sprouted grain bread had more bifidobacteria and lactobacillus bacteria in their gut microbiome versus the wheat bread. And interestingly enough, wheat bread is one of the most common triggers for leaky gut, so that's one way that sprouted grain bread is going to be better for you. But another thing is that during the sprouting process, enzymes are activated and they start breaking down the starches into simple sugars. Also, phytic acid levels drop by up to 90%, which is interesting because phytate is an anti-nutrient. So it blocks certain minerals like zinc, iron, calcium, and magnesium from being absorbed. But with the sprouting process, there is an enzyme called phytase that is activated, and this helps to break down phytates and increase the absorption of those key minerals. Another interesting point about sprouted grain bread is that they use various types of grains and legumes, like chickpeas and lentils and millet and amaranth and peas and flax seeds. And these are all very high in fiber. For example, 2 slices of Ezekiel bread, which is a brand of sprouted grain bread, has 14 grams of fiber, which is half of the recommended amount of fiber that you should get per day. One important note about sprouted grain bread is make sure that they don't add extra sugar. So I would recommend sticking with brands that don't add any type of sugar or sweetener or flour. Just stick with the basics. Look at the ingredients and see if they're just using just the sprouts. You want to avoid any types of added sweeteners. Number 2 is nutritional yeast. And I love this because it's deactivated yeast, so it doesn't cause any type of bloating. And it's got a cheesy flavor. I actually sprinkle it on top of my salads. I put it on my popcorn. I put it on my soups. And it's just a great way to add flavor without adding any type of sugar. And it's got a really cool cheesy flavor. But it's a great source of B vitamins. It's especially high in B1, which is important for converting food into energy. It's also got vitamin D and zinc. One thing about nutritional yeast is it can help reduce that craving for sugar because it does contain B vitamins. And B vitamins help to convert food into energy, so it can help keep your blood sugars stable. Number 3 is wild-caught salmon. I love wild-caught salmon because it's loaded with omega-3 fatty acids. In fact, it's one of the best sources of omega-3s, and I think most people are deficient in omega-3s. And there's been many studies showing that low levels of omega-3s increase inflammation. So if you want to reduce inflammation in your body, eating more omega-3 fatty acids will definitely help. And the best sources are wild-caught salmon, sardines, anchovies, and mackerel. And it's also a great source of protein and vitamin D. Number 4 is organic blueberries. Blueberries are loaded with antioxidants especially anthocyanins, which is why they're blue. It's also a great source of manganese, which supports bone health, and vitamin C and dietary fiber. So including blueberries into your diet can definitely support healthy aging. It can reduce oxidative stress. It can help improve insulin sensitivity. So that's going to help with weight loss. It's going to help reduce fat off of your liver. And there was one study in rats where they found that blueberries improved glucose metabolism and reduced fasting insulin levels. So if you want to improve insulin resistance, blueberries are definitely a good choice. Number 5 is extra virgin olive oil. Extra virgin olive oil is the healthiest oil that you can consume. It's loaded with healthy monounsaturated fats, polyphenols, and phytosterols. And it has anti-inflammatory properties. So consuming extra virgin olive oil can help reduce chronic inflammation. It's great for your brain health, your heart health, and it's great for healthy weight maintenance. Number 6 is pasture-raised eggs, and this is different from commercial eggs. Commercial eggs come from chickens that are fed grains, which is not their natural diet, and they're kept in mass hatcheries. So pasture-raised chickens, on the other hand, they roam and forage, and they're fed a more natural diet consisting of bugs and worms and plants and grasses and berries. And as a result, pasture-raised eggs are a richer source of omega-3 fatty acids, vitamin A, vitamin D, and vitamin E. One thing about egg yolks is they're rich in choline, which is great for brain health, liver health, and even eye health. And eggs are also a great source of protein. Number 7 is organ meats, like liver and heart. And I know not everyone likes organ meats, but there are many benefits. Organ meats are loaded with nutrients, especially vitamin A, vitamin D, and iron. And they're also a great source of heme iron. Heme iron is the type of iron that is found in animal products. And it's a much better form of iron than non-heme iron, which is the type of iron found in plants. And one thing about organ meats is they're very concentrated. 1 ounce of beef liver has 1000% of the daily requirement for vitamin A. Beef liver is also a great source of selenium. In fact, it's one of the best sources of selenium. And 3 ounces of cooked chicken breast only has 14% of the daily requirement for selenium. So it takes 22 times more chicken to get the same amount of selenium that you get in just 1 ounce of beef liver. And number 8 is macadamia nuts. Macadamia nuts are a great source of monounsaturated fats, fiber, and many vitamins and minerals. These are the highest calorie nuts. They're also high in magnesium, which can help lower blood sugars. They're also high in zinc and vitamin E, and I love them because they have a low glycemic index. They're filling, they stay with you a long time, and they have a low glycemic load. So I think the key to success when it comes to improving your nutrition is to focus on adding foods that are nutrient-dense, that have a low glycemic index and a low glycemic load. Focus on adding these foods into your diet rather than restricting certain foods. So thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the thumbs up button, share it with someone who might benefit. And if you haven't seen my video on 7 best superfoods for longevity, check that out. I put that up right here.